era nga yaliko omuyambi wa president mu nsonga z'eyamawulire ateranga omukukunavu
babisoma mu kufa naye kakati omanyi nti ensi bannafu nnyo ensi nfunda nakolanga ne taatawo
Lawrence Ssenyondo
lwa munno
yesebo
Lawrence yo Ssenyondo nabagamba nti omwana okwagala ekintu ewaka kiba kyafuna you admire ntolowooza ne mutani wa Museveni nga jjajjaawe Museveni nga ne kitaawe wa maje tiyajja kuba bidongo
asigala mu maje.
Yes. Kasa omuli you can find a family of generals, you go to USA, you find a family of doctors, you find a family of movement in young, all of these people, because for me I train according to the needs of my family. I'm living in fear.
Okay.
Akati mugamba bolize babadde babaganishijja kujja. If I was an ordinary Muganda, I would be seated in the tent in Masaka.
But you can't feel it too.
Sunday na feel. What if it is a routine? Does it mean that I will deny my followers? Is it dead? I'm not dead. Jesus yagamba nti abafumu zike bafuna abasiramu bo bazikira wincha ne bakola. My father, biological father, asked me if I die today, and if you have a newspaper, yes, will it stop? I said it cannot stop. What? I cannot lose it twice. Go food attend amawulega ngano kufuluma njavu wale.
Kwe kufiira emirundi ebiri.
Yes. Sezala wange yafudde bana baganda bo mulembe ko bagamba tata wange anzalira omukyala. Akati bwe yagala okutegeera ya mama wa Junior tata we yafudde.
Abakwatako nnyo.
Nnyo. On Sunday is not a car. I had a close relative. So if it becomes a routine, I can get a speedy car and I can get a clearing car. Police in agent within 3 hours.
Go to see.
And I cannot fold my legs and sit in a tent when Ugandans need me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Nze nzikiriza today banuwa baaliyo mu bayibuli baaliyo naye abantu ekyokubiri the first casualties ensi bwe yayavuwala the professors took a passenger seat is in Uganda where you find professors don't play an active role. In any newspaper, if there is an incident, they will say, according to the professor of political science, according to the professor of this, according to security experts, one of Alpha, for 8 years, I have not been in the government. I surrendered their passport. I don't want to travel. I rejected their job. And I'm at home comfortably.
Never quoting according to so and so.
Why? By now I would be dead. If I was a part of a government, if I make a mistake of going back to government, I would die in 2 days. Let me annoy you, Museveni, by not going to Israel today. But let me survive. Museveni ejakuleta obukadde 10 wafate babukuba. Abana bange babonebona. Abana bakiriga bakyayina ani akyavamu. Farao abayudaaya bali bamanyi nnyo emisiri naye Farao yali abamanyi bwe yafa bafuuka baddu. God had to send Moses to rescue them. Yes. Kakati today nze nababala nabagamba let me tell you, Bobi Wine was harassed, tear gassed, and I warned him when you got to Kayunga you were going to die. And I told Bobi Wine, it's not Museveni who is harassing you. The mafia gang want you to be killed to overthrow Museveni's government. Bobi Wine namulaba. Don't go to Kayunga esasi lyamuyitawa. Nga bo baagala kubanga ne bagamba tebukenya bamukwata ne bamuteeka mu kkomera. Baali baagala afiire mu kkomera bakwate omulambo gwa Bukenya bakuyingiza ekibuga Museveni ago. A person came to me told me, tell your boss, Uganda should not get food from home. I saved Uganda.
Nachulira. Okay.
Kakati, let me tell you.
Yes.
I said, because when you analyze the type of mafias we have in Uganda, they are commercial agents. Impenkoni, lavish spending, baina abana, kandi omwana wasomawa, asoma ha. Abantu baina family, where baina chi. Do they have factories here? Have we? Ugandan mafia is not comparable to the Italian mafias. The Italian mafias developed in Italy. Why? They invested in the capital.
Okay.
The British primitive capitalism developed in Britain. These are scavengers. Wait.
Yes,
these people cannot survive. They steal from government. Their gold mine is government. They will create all excuses to steal from government. I know the Ugandan mafia. They turn calamities into gold mines. COVID, never percent, never tap, never tap. The organic case and the mafia is reason beyond human imagination. When I come out and say it, there is a laboratory trade in human organs. Nobody listened to me. I was watching them yesterday. The case has reached the final one. What do you want to do meeting? Did you have a meeting yesterday? I was watching them. Mirundi is involved, but I'm not involved. One, you cheated yourselves. The Chinese gave you money, you raised $30 million instead of paying the lawyers. You paid 10 billion to newspapers, the media in Uganda. Didn't you give me any money? How much money do you get from the Chinese before you fled? How much money do you get from Oman? Blame yourselves, not me. Me, I told you I never give evidence against you. Never panicking. Yes, sir. Tije nabategeera nti Bobby Wine is serving security, not tear gas and related equipment. Tebayinza kukkiriza ne baleeta ebijambia Museveni n'abakwata ne batta abaana ba akasajja kabukedde kapulubye singa mukakwata ne ziri baggwa kamanya abatemu ba ne twagala kabeerewo fe tuli kayola mu gavumenti ya
weekend yennyini
nkunyonyola totegeera nti myai knew to these people Bobby Wine prayed them a good to starve security. Tewali tear gas ne baleeta beesiine mu bani group ye red card. How can you give a person a player red card after the match? The people who can give a president of Uganda a red card are the voters. What they have done is cause this. The only statement, a factual statement I've heard from the Uganda police is to say that these are local terrorists. These are commercial terrorists.
Yes.
Do you know what they want? Me, two weeks ago, I returned my government vehicle to State House.
Lwaki?
2 weeks ago, I impounded all of my taxi vehicles. 2 weeks ago,
yes, sir.
I impounded all my private cars. I'm moving in hired vehicles because I knew
wali omanyi kigenda
they are
kuyamba
going to
Uganda
attack transport. After having been denied revenue from Bobby Wine, because government pays a lot of money on security. Museveni operates like a human body. A human body, blood goes where it is needed. Our security is staffed.
kino ekya bus kyoliko nti baatakinze transport sector.
Najimanya, ask them. I sent their vehicle, a government vehicle, 2 weeks ago, back to State House, and I told them, what I want, I'm scouting from my security allies, a military driver. Why did I do it? My car was supposed to be the first one to be targeted.
Lwaki tewagamba police?
Miso. Mbabazi told it to Mwebazi. That man has a wide network and he dwarfs all the security organs. Ask them whether 2 weeks ago I did not return your vehicle and I insisted I'm scouting for a security, a soldier driver, and I alerted my allies in the security for military police driver. 2 weeks ago, I impounded all my taxis. 2 weeks ago, I started moving in private cars. Even the one that has brought me is a private car. All my private vehicles, including the taxis, I impounded. I impounded them 2 times. Why? I know how these people behave. If you want to study this mafia, study the volcano. For us who know that the volcano is about to explode, because I've told you, Bobby Wine denied them money from security. There's not powering of tear gas and related equipment. I think the right policy is out of action. But why? And 2, the argument is, if you people believe that Sewanyana and this man are behind the terrorism, this terrorism continue.
Kino kyebagamba police kyegamba nti nno tebasobola kuliikinga kyabadde Komambogo ne IC kikwataganira wana ati
I did criminality. Certain causes I'm doing them myself. When such an incident occurs in Europe, what happens? 1, you study the debris. We have 2 things. Holomarks. Al-Qaeda has its holomarks. Al-Shabaab has its holomarks. And the local mafia has its holomarks. What are the holomarks? I told you. Every murder in Uganda has 4 characteristics. A woman must be involved. A border is involved. The movement. Why? A border is escape. But the borders are they get 4 borders, change the parts at 1. Ekawanda. Bakwata boda satu ne bazijjamu emu ne bokwata emu tosobola kuzuula eri ndala. 3, normally on Friday, normally when there is a presidential address, they strike. I choose them of being pigs because they want Museveni to comment on them. Ask any opposition leader. Bwabera omunabyabufuzi of opposition ajja kugamba I benefit more if Museveni talks about me. Reverse psychology. Let Museveni go to a constituency and castigate and blast the opposition. He will win. Oyo yamunyiga ke kayinja mu ngatto. They provoke Museveni to talk about them. That's why they strike before he is going to address.
Bamanya ntagenda kwogera.
Buli lwagenda okwogera nti yavaayo n'agamba oyo omusajja yali ambaye ebyayero yani. National address, this when we talked about him. By the time he came to talk about the budget, the man was dead. We study hallmarks. Al-Qaeda is headed by highly intelligent people. Al-Qaeda cannot plant a bomb in a bar in a Christian dominated country like ours. It will backlash on the Muslims. Al-Qaeda can kill an Islamic kirariki, but cannot attack a focal joint. They are highly educated. Al-Shabaab, the same. Al-Shabaab reacts.
Tebakyusa mu bukodyo okubuzaabuza
nti nze I can tell obusa bw'ente obw'omusu obwaki kuba mwihanta. Kakati this is and how the next person in intelligence criminality you study the scene of crime. 40% of evidence incriminating, exposing the person involved remains at the scene of crime. Mu Uganda is 60% that remains at the scene of crime because they are amateurs. And what is it done? Is it done by security agents knowing it very well. They will not be arrested. Abo bonna bwe mulaba mu bbaasi abakubiddwa bbomu babatta buli lwalabanga balumbye petrol station oyo omuwala yabadde mu bbala waabwe baleka bamusse to conceal evidence. The dead, you trace the dead. If you trace the dead abafudde, you trace the passenger from where he boarded the bus, you will arrest these people because they know they are not going to be arrested. Kakati debris tuzikwata.
Yes sir.
Ne tuzikwata ntukwamanya. These people, they know where you find Al Qaeda. If you find a mizikiti ejinyirira with a handsome kiralis, Al Qaeda cell is there. Yes. Al Qaeda temala kuwestinga resources zayo. Why should the Islamic State attack Uganda? Because
yegas ko ADF.
Ulira wasiru. Even if we accommodated the ISIS, banabachi
ADF,
ati kati baagaloga nti Uganda yaleese abaki. They were chased away. Economy minister said, economy minister Nigeria, Uganda ni men is happening. Are we seeing Arabs for the first time? The first Arab to come to Uganda, Ahmed bin Ibrahim came in 1848.
Yes sir.
1848. We are not seeing Arab. In fact, in Uganda like me, I'm chased away from our teaching as a Uganda man. I cannot get engaged in the love affair with omukazi omweru ennyo.
Lwaki?
Musambwa.
Buli mukazi omweru nnyo aba musambwa.
Baganda men are scared of very good.
Bagala baddugavu.
We are trained as younger men to avoid these people. Era Abaganda bagamba nti abakyotala bakuba obwavu. No. Abakyotala tebakuba bwavu. But a skin must be maintained. Alya mukyere. Is difficult to maintain. Tebakuba bwavu. Abasobola tebakuba bwavu.
Babere expensive.
Many Ugandans hate the Mercedes Benz. Tetundika. Amayo ekadira. I have them.
Spare
when I analyze as a security expert, then I move to the third point. When an incident occurs, security people, experienced people like me, after examining the debris, we go to one question: who benefits from this incident? Is clear. If you had a smart security organization like a MISO, you would arrest these fellows. Why? Why are they moving into security? Why are they striking when schools are opening? Simple. Commercial. Our terrorists are commercial terrorists. They know. You are now going to have security gadgets to check passengers. As these security people lose business on tear gas, they are moving somewhere.
Abagamba nti nno works of ADF tekibayo.
ADF has a faction in Uganda which is hired. The people are killing these Ugandans, ADF, but they are paid for. The people who wanted to assassinate Nachovi came from an island. I was following them from an island. They brought bazookas. This guy is the son. And I have recordings about them. Video and the audio.
Kino kiri commercial bya sente byanfuna.
Commercial because when I analyze who benefits from these incidents, one, they have targeted the transport. And we are going to open the schools.
Yeah, true.
Now what you are going to do, to check luggages, you need security gadgets.
Yeah, true.
Two, you are going to get school fires. Better equip your fire brigade. Let all the schools buy fighting equipment. But if you have if I head ISO, any of the security organizations, then I would ask, the moment the government announces that ensure that your social place is like a bus, you must have security, you must have these gadgets, but they are already in the country. Was this businessman who is going to supply these items that are needed today, Was he visited by Satan? Was he visited by Angel Gabriel to stalk? Because it does not work in the weather forecast.
Elias stock is a gadget says. Elias stock is a fire machine.
Yeah.
Elias biri kunsalo.
Webiri mustowa. When you talk about Bijambia, yes. The originality of Bijambia would suspect Rwanda. But President Kagame looks far. He crossed the border. So the Bijambia, are they manufactured, locally manufactured, or the Bijambia are bought from hardwares? Has the security investigated the originality? Who imported the Bijambia?
Waluka yokeleza mukama katonda.
There you go. You see,
Tamale Mirundi.
When Kaira was assassinated, they brought a sergeant from Scotland Yard. When Ouko was assassinated, they brought a sergeant. No. M16 Scotland Yard does not force a corpse to talk. They just use the information I use as a trained expert.
Kakati kino kigatta otya n'okwogera kwa president kuba ogambye nti no byabadde komambuga twabirabi byabadde mpiki twabirabi kati obigatta otya n'okwogera kwa
Let me tell you, I told you this volcano. Why is it that Chisaka in the Kampala State Council and Nalweso have frustrated all efforts for taxi drivers to unite? Because in intelligence, we look for an abnormality. Any leader would like to make sure that the taxi drivers unite. But because the next target was in the transport, all of effort Kisaka and Nareso have frustrated the effort to unite the taxi drivers. And the next day, the taxi can Museveni swallow the bitter bit and arrest Nareso.
But they want them united. Abakulu abo bakoledde nnyo abakulu abo begatte.
I want, this man has been talking. This man has been talking. Driver, Namukuba. He disappeared on Friday, came back on Tuesday without knowing that vehicle is on satellite.
Okay. Badde nkusaba. Kati bannayuganda bakola batya tukole tukulaba nga twekuuma ya bomu tukole tutya what is the way forward ku nsonga eyo.
These are business terrorists. There is no involvement of foreigners in Uganda. Why? We don't have an Arab population.
Yes.
Don't worry. We don't, the only people we have are Somalis.
Yes.
Somalis.
Mpulira.
The Rwandese. Come and talk.
Yes.
Because it disrupts me every time.
Over the Rwandese.
I've told you.
Yes.
The Rwandese cannot destroy Uganda because the fallback opposition to them is Uganda.
Okay.
It took the Tutsis 50 years to go back to Kigali. It can take the Hutus 100 years, but they will go back to Kigali. And the Tutsis will come back to Uganda. Like the Israelis went back to Jerusalem after 600 years. The permanent place of the Tutsis is Uganda. So you know. I told you that you people, if you have an intelligent security man, President Kagame, who is very, very tough on hygiene, because one way Rwanda is not spending much money on health. In many cases, the approach eliminates diseases, because most of the diseases come out of hygienic conditions. In Rwanda, it is perfect. A man like a President Kagame, who is interested in the health of his people, can he allow prostitutes every weekend to be brought to Uganda?
No.
Babadde bagenda Rwanda ne bajjayo abawala.
Babadde bakikola bamu.
Ngate one of the main destinations of these Banyarwanda beautiful girls near Makindye Barracks. I said, are these commandos or prostitutes?
Ekyo
Anti nkubulira intelligence nga nze njirimu ate siyinza bakolera. siyinza bakolera mmwe siyinza kudda mu gavumenti mumukiyiwe ekintu kyammwe mukizanyiremu ati okitegedde bulungi nti Nalweyiso and Kisaka have frustrated efforts for the taxi drivers to unite. Me, I knew, judging from like a volcano, I knew that the target now is transport. That's why 2 weeks ago I returned their vehicle and I said, I'm scouting for military policemen to drive me. I impounded all my taxis. I impounded all my vehicles. I started hiring, which cannot be marked, which means I'm ahead. The organic case, I was watching them the whole of yesterday. Don't blame me. I offered you that I will never give evidence against you, but you are sitting on my money. Well, if you recover my shirt from a thief, do you sit on it?
No.
The president gave me money. Somebody took it, has forced him to surrender. You are sitting on it. I will attack you like I've attacked me. I want this money.
Olunaku lw'eggulo e Masaka abakiise omuli Honorable Segirinya Muhammad ne Honorable Sewanyana waliwo akantu katono bwe kati babagambye temujja kuyimirirwa nsonga ziri ssatu zawadde esooka nti baaganye okulaga omulamuzi nti balwadde.
Let me tell you, these are idiots.
Bani?
But these are fools. I'm telling you that there is a struggle between the government. It tells you that these people are represented by a formidable force. All efforts are made to get them out. Why? And the government on the other side does not want to get them out. Why? This is a tug of war. It takes two to tumble. If the government allows these people to get their freedom, then it will encourage others. The two factions, government is fighting a formidable force. Inside it knows. Mumugenda ni batata wamwe nga bakubagana ne mama wamwe temumanya nti omwe akwatidde mu nembwenzi.
Okay.
They are just fulfilling no, just to appear. Nze mbadde mu taxi ferongo time. Naye waliwo omusajja bali mumuyita Katende. Was a very tall and a huge man. Yali chairman ku Mityana ne ku Bugoloobi about 10 years ago. Ne batula ne bamugamba Mr. Chairman, lwaki gwe buli kaseera gw'ofuna numberless? Numberless means ti emmotoka gye ba-identifyinze ku lunaku olukola numberless bw'ekomawo neesanga nga etikka temulimu bantu basukka basatu yeetikka, which means you make more money.
Terinda yo.
Naye Katende yali musajja mugezi. Yabaga nti nze numberless ngivuddeko.
Lwaki?
Emmotoka yasooka okugenda yagula abaserikale ba traffic nabateeka mu lubigi. Emmotoka yasooka okugenda bamugaa nti adduka nnyo. Emotoka yokubiri bamugaa nti atisse kabindo. Emotoka yokusatu bamugaa teyina mupiira. Emotoka yokuna ne bamugamba teyina kataala. Era emmotoka ya Katende yabayitako.
Efuuka numberless.
Era efuuka numberless. Whether they like it or not, this is a battle between the government.
Kati numberless wano yaluwamu mu musango guno gwa Segirinya.
Government emanya abagirwanyisa.
Nti gundi ne gundi.
If Segirinya gains his freedom and this young man, these people will defeat the government and they will have the opportunity of recruiting more. For Abaganda bwe tuba tusogola omwenge. Enjuki esooka okujja tugikwata bukwasi ne tukisiba teddayo ku reporting olujja kusobola bulungi. Naye the first day if you don't try it, it goes back and the other this way. Best years of hooligans are released by the judiciary to make it appear that you can fight, we shall release you. There is a stronger bond between the Uganda mafia, judiciary, and the media. But what is the such people? These are ponies in the chess game. This is not law. We call it realpolitik. In politics, we have politics and realpolitik. The moment these people gain their freedom, the opposition, the people who are using them will celebrate. And Museveni cannot allow this. So even the judges are just fulfilling your obligations.
Okay.
Nti even yenani kati fa Abaganda tutwala abaana baffe ku nsiko. Even yenani tumutwalayo. Tagenda kufuuka.
Of course.
Omuntu atalina ngatto anaaba ebigere bw'amala obbina banaalinnya mu ttaka. This is what you are doing. A corpus is cleaned but ngaikola kamutaka kakati babalamuzi bakoze rolo yaabwe formality but they never be released.
Ani ali mabega wa kino kyonna.
They are powerful, these boys. You see, for us Baganda, we are lucky. These people fear intellectual Baganda like me. Bakozesa bwe
abali
you look what all of those have used and dumped. These are not educated Baganda. They use nti segirinya kabuke tujja kakwata tulumya tulikwata segirinya yalese motoka segirinya alese fire brigade segirinya alese bitanda segirinya alinazaland
ni ababirisi
and inflating you. The mafia is inflating you. Do you think by a cattle keeper like me to castrate a cow, a bull, am I helping it not to mount going cows? They fatten you, kakati abo baba kutte chuma chaba kutte eracho obola when a segirinya failed to get out. Jesus, if Jesus did not resurrect, wouldn't be believing in his resurrection. Even Nabi Muhammad yagamba yagenda mu ggulu n'alabayo Musa. He talks about heaven. His narration is more detailed than Jesus who came from heaven. Kakati babakutte. Bwamaze bakwata besi in normal countries besi would have been arrested with his band because his intention was to provoke the tear gas. Kakati after when I hit at Besigye disappeared like a gonorrhea. They are now targeting transport. And why? Kankusomera akatabo kano. Ndacheka zange sigadde.
Isoma tulabe.
Gwe tofaayo. Mbalaba ntiengege him. Mbamwe. Ngogamba. I wrote this book because for me, whenever I see something, I go back to my library. I've written on everything in this country. Because I'm seeing a replica. I'm seeing a Nigerian.
Musisi might have
in conclusion.
Nakuzo mwezi 19 July 2012.
Tozanye sanga mutwe gwe. Nakugamba. It is a non-political science principle that a setback is good and the success after success is bad. When you suffer a setback, you go back and ponder over it, leading to a solution. However, success after success creates confidence, and one who takes many important things for granted. In politics, an institution must operate like a living thing. It must assimilate, adapt, and discard. The religious institutions know this very well. However, for any religious institution to survive, the changes should not erode or undermine the core values. Otherwise, it turns into something else. If a woman applies cosmetics to the extent that her husband does not recognize her, then the cosmetics have not achieved their objective. The role of the cosmetics would be to provide more beauty, but at the same time retain the original features of the woman. Setbacks helps to awaken up people. They are like warning bells in a car or barking dogs. If one responds in time, the damage done is little. However, if an organization rejects or government ignores the warning bells, then the enemy eats up the organization or government. Even where their treatment for a particular disease, early detection is very important for its treatment. Like human beings, political organizations and governments are attacked by their enemies on a daily basis. It's the level of early detection of an organization that saves it from its enemies. The institution or government should create an early warning mechanism as well as a quick response one in order to survive. Political institutions and governments suffer from what you call political inertia. They develop weaknesses. They are like human beings who have to observe a high level of hygiene to avoid falling sick. Furthermore, political institutions are like human beings who must ensure self-preservation. Once a human being succumbs to death, then it ends its living cycle. If a political institution or government loses the political preservation, it dies like a human being whose defense systems succumbs to diseases. Finally,
yes,
and more important, political organizations must have detective systems to check the internal enemies and external ones. Intrigue is a very important weapon that internal enemies use to sabotage. You must work like me. I have my mission Mirundi internal security organization. I've infiltrated all those sectors. I've infiltrated criminal gangs. This is why 2 weeks ago, you go to Okero House and ask whether I did not surrender their vehicle. And I said, I can only be driven by a security, a military police soldier. I even alerted my friends in the military police that I need a driver from military police, the people I trust, or army. Is it not true that I impounded all of my taxi cars? Is it not true that I've been using private cars?
You have.
How can I, an individual, detect that the transport is going to be attacked when you saw and the military that are funded, are pampered, have nothing to show?
Kino ekya success to success kyosomyeko kikulu nnyo. Obadde ogamba government yefunye success to success oba abali mu security.
The setbacks. In any government, if it was not part of government, if security was not involved for money, this would be a success.
Okay. Nkufunye awo.
Naye kakati bwe kye bagenda okukola nti enzige bwe zajja baatubuulira lwamirama. One day Rwamira had the audacity of telling us that the government had incurred an outstanding debt of $3 million that must be cleared. And I was seeing Mukula somewhere panicking like a kid who has suffered from diarrhea. Ngakankana. Yes, Mukula. Yagenda nganali nyenye naganti kumiramba ejivudde Rwanda nanyogo. By the time we buried the Rwanda corpses, there was more than 500. Enyanja ejudde emirambo Museveni because Museveni raises him after panic.
Omukulu
kakati nkubuulira n'enzige bwe zaali. Enzige were defeated by General Kavuma with the soldiers using a bomber.
Okufuuyira bazifuuyira.
Yes. Where did Rwamirama take that $3 million? One day he will pay. One day Rwamirama will pay. A date might become a melody, but it never decays. Nti era twalindo lina atatubanja ne bajja sempijja bajja bakimanyo sente bwatwala bwakimanya emititi bwatwala. They sent a team to study enzige in Kenya. A team, whether they are green, whether they are yellow, whether they are red. They see COVID natta abantu ku oxygen n'abamalawo. When they knew that sentence where they enormous. We know. Omanyi omusajja omu yali amanyi when we use abaganda baga nti gonde kigwange mumbwa nga yakimanyi. The man had mastered the way his woman plays the national anthem. Kati bwagenda mu loogi naye yali agenze kuwenda agenda okulya nga sitireewo eri mu lumu eddako yeewuwe eggono nga lyewuwe. Sajja kyava abaga nti open that door. Bwe bagaana mu lukuba enjaddu sasu era mukazi we gwe yasangamu. That's why for us who know the security we look at the hallmarks. Nti I know these international organizations, what have we done to Islamic State to warrant an attack on us? Why? Are we the only people who accommodated the weak handed down by the Talibanis?
No.
If Uganda can be targeted for hosting a few, because many of them were chased away by this Minister of Gender, Mukamwana Wobert. Men are sharpening. Why don't women also sharpen?
Tukyalinayo ensonga eno ya paaka ojja kuba ogitubuuliramuko.
Uganda is condemned.
N'ensonga eno y'empuuta ekyali nkulu nnyo.
An idiot comes in Uganda, talks to Parliament, and he says, audacity. Being idiot is okay, but plus arrogance. A negative times a negative, you get a plus. An idiot comes from Philippines. Philippines is not one of the Asian tigers.
Yes.
It was bashed by the natives should not eat emputa. Why?
I won't know what you're going to cook.
Do you feed it to your dogs, Mr. Filipino? Do you? And he goes away. No,
yagambye nti ensonga y'empuuta eno
empuuta was brought by Obote. Why don't you develop empuuta? You are highly developed. No. An idiot plus stupidity plus ignorance plus arrogance. A negative times a negative, you get a plus. This man to have the audacity to talk in our parliament that emputa was manufactured not by God.
Yes.
Obote brought emputa.
Yes.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Agamba bwati.
Chemutamanyi.
Yes.
Emputa Baganda bagiyita mputa lwaki. Kuuta byennyanja birimu to swallow. That's swallow everything. Another name of emputa is Sabulenya. Obote's mother was Sabulenya. To abuse Obote, to mama we munene nnyo. Emputa bagire. Obote brought emputa. Input is not an illegality. An idiot. An idiot with a bullet. In Africa, a person with a bullet must have wisdom. An idiot. Another guy. A thief. A con man. Why? Anti nuni bajiba. Nebata bavubi kunyanja. Neba bavubi. Hey, can you kill your wife? Ekanisa nemutesa byakola. Mutesa yalaba omusajja mulira nga alina omukazi mulungi. Namuyita mu lubiri namulemera. Nagenda mu koti mulira namuwabira nebaka kabaka tawabira Mutesa. Nabinna mirembe. Kakati kyenkubuuza. Can we say that because milk comes from Nyankole, in order to have cheap milk, the Nyankole should not drink their milk? That because cows farm a burden stupid Filipino who comes from a failed state gets the audacity in Uganda because we have banana state. Starve the natives. You would be hurt. You get another Muslim. A boa from South Africa. You get a boa from South Africa. They printed their leaders in MTA. None was a Ugandan. Is stealing money from raising money. And at the same time, you are killing a National Security Fund. If National Security Fund invests money according to the demand, how can you tell them to where will they invest the money? A boa comes here and controls the state as if it's South Africa. Mr. MTN, we are not seeing a Mzungu for the first time. And Ugandans have never been impressed by a Mzungu. Why? All the time our political terms have gone through, we have never seen a Mzungu liberator, a Mzungu peacekeeper. In fact, Ugandans hate Bazungu. When you talk about foreign intervention, this is the problem of Wesi and Imbabas, invoking foreigners. We used to see these foreigners running away during the time of political turmoil. What about Bobby Assos, who guided Idi Amin? Murderers. The British maintained an advanced British military training team alongside the North Korean commandos and the Tanzanian advancing team to train the British army that were killing people in the world. In fact, the Sacha government had a directive that in any time of several landings at the end of the airports or ports would be arrested and handed over to Obote. When Mutesa fled to Britain, they told him, recognize Obote's government. He died a pauper because he was denied the political asylum. Why do you invoke our memory? When you gonna see, when you gonna see a Mzungu, a Boer, who wants to grab their money?
Agafuga a business.
Tomorrow you come, tell us where you are going to invest our money. Mr. Boer. You tell us. Kakati mwepa kamba.
Tetwetaka mateeka.
Anti nkubuulira nti ensi yaggwamu ssente. Omuzungu ono gwe naleta wandi mulwanirira.
Yes, twamulaba.
I don't know whether Nabasa has seen a critique from a British lawyer has dismissed the Ugandan judiciary with contempt. I'm going to publish a book with the Nabasa's judgment and a critique from Britain. And the man is saying that we follow almost the same law. It would embarrass the Ugandan judiciary. As I observed that they wanted to say that the man is a property, this was the conclusion. And I'm not a lawyer. Kakati kampagaliye transport. How can a general, an aide of the president, write to Kampala State Council to say that these people should not unite, taxi drivers should not unite? That's what I told you. There is a stupid, but we are lucky that this minister, because has been an activist in Kampala, Chisaka has been paying 600 million monthly to maintain the markets. But at the same time, this woman has been raising money. Kisaka are you more important than Musisi? If I believe it, I will defeat you. Yes, sir. Negama into Silva Kisaka. Where Kisaka has made a problem. Kanuko Kaduka, the minister Kafeda Kalakadukubani Yakare. Nabagamba, Soma. Okuva baganzembite kamusoma
ntandikira for example one
wasoka
a fool is described as a person who does the same thing again and again expecting different results. After reading the above presentation and submission, I now knew to go to the title of the book, Kampala City. The foolish spirit syndrome tells us that a fool is a person who does the same thing over again, expecting different results. That is why I conclude by saying the minister of Kampala have a fool's spirit hanging around in their office. Like any other fool, they are repeating the same things, expecting results. Kano kaliwo
Kisaka spends 600. I can prove to you. It is the president.
Kakati kusinzira ku
omukazi n'ababbira sente
okusinzira
yabugoba mbabutoloza ye Kisaka naze kuba munika
okusinzira
ku yugo Kisaka challenge me in a court of law be nkukuba duke
okusinzira ku kino kyosomye kiki ekiremeseza paaka okugulwa
ati kyenkubulira they targeted the transport. When Bobi Wine denied the security money to finance tear gas and the violent activities, they have moved to transport. And they will also move to schools. Prepare, the government must spend money on preventive measures. You must have security measures at Park Station.
Yes.
They made sure that they ensured that a strong organization that will fight these terrorists has been frustrated by Narweso and this woman, Kisaka. Narweso writes a letter, in general. Where do we have any demonstrated the importance of unity? When the taxi drivers are coming together, why should the security a person, a need of the president? No, name Museveni bamu. Museveni
bamu. Paaka eno kikyagiremeseza ye toilet tenabakugwa. Ekyokubiri tenaba kugwa bulungi toilet eno. Ekyokubiri
but we are documenting
twana bakufuna bukulembeze mu paaka oba paaka eno empya.
How can you say that you want your daughter to produce a grandson or daughter when he is married to an important man?
Ani important one?
Anti kugambye their intention would be to organize a stronger tax organization.
Okay.
But in that way, so comes up, all of efforts are directed to undermine the formation. Naye mukiyiwe bakakwatira wano nalwensonga tebakyasobola nagoba mbaata babulidde mukiyiwe fe tubatunulidde babakwatira wano mujja kunnyonnyola leka nkusomere bya taxi kana akatabo nakawandiika ddi
19 July 2012
kati kankusomere the congestion of Kampala. The real intention was to grab Utoda money. If we wanted to decongest Kampala, we would have done what other countries have done. In Kenya, taxi drivers were given a 5-year grace period. The government imposed a ban on the importation of omnibuses. Kenya will not accept omnibuses in the next 5 years. Nobody, therefore, can import a minibus into the country, Kenya, for taxi business. Why didn't Musisi, all these people, Kisaka, Baba Nabalin's Bali Mutuma, when some names resemble their owners, minibus into the country for business. The intention was not to decongest the city, but to grab out the money. I was invited to Nairobi. The taxi drive, the first 14 seaters, we are given a grace period of 5 years. Yeah. As we talk today, there are no Kamunyas in Kenya. No. But here, you don't stop with the license border. PSV. How can a motorcycle have a PSV? Passenger service vehicle. Minister wa transport nengalabiye a motorcycle is an illegality. Tewalina uli muntu wakwata. Motorcycle has obligations if you did the transport. One, a motorcycle, any woman to sit on a motorcycle must be dressed in jeans.
Yeah, true.
A motorcycle must have light.
True.
All the time. Why? To know that when a trailer man is driving, he must know that this is a moving, a motorized. Kubaha Kisaka.
Okay.
Kisaka bajaba kwatira.
Okay.
Temujja kuduka. Kakati kankubuze. Wait. Otegedde. Whatever they are doing in Uganda is not to decongest the city. In fact, one of the ways of decongesting the city is the flyovers.
Yeah.
So if you are having flyovers and the trains, then it means you are going to create more space. No, you won't go to obongo bwambu nolabe mputa Museveni yasinza ba minister abasiru mu Africa but technically and they have flat-rated all efforts have been done to flat-rate the military kubanga abamaje wa bank baganye kakati yuwa pipeline there is a big group climate change simanyi bani baganye pipeline wa bank. This is what exactly they did when we are having a new dam. I'll read you next time. Yes. Era bamaliba wa sente baba we dine kuanga we are going to have to be the sick man of East Africa.
Ensonga ya transport.
Wait. This means what they did in 2014 is what exactly they are doing now. The Kisakazi. This means that no importation, according to the Kenyan directive, nobody could import a Kamunye for tax business 5 years. They will lead to cannibalization and you cannot bring it. They will disappear in 5 years.
Okay.
This means, according to the Kenyans, who wanted to decongest, when we are this means that no importation of spare parts and you give the tax operators time to gradually phase out. Since Musisi and the Kisaka, you replace Musisi with the Kisaka, have fallen into the hands of the steering group, she just gave an ultimatum. Why not buy? I even gave an example. I'm buying these Kamunyes, my own money, my own resources. I started a business where I'm buying ram shackles. I will sell them to Uganda in the future.
Okay.
In 2014, I'm suggesting means of decongesting Kampala. Give a ban of a grace period because these people acquire the loans.
Yeah. Ogula kamunyi.
Kisaka. Mujja kuduka.
Bate kamusente.
Oyo omukazi alimu wino. Wayawulira mbasajja bw'abakuba pads. One day they will catch you. Bwe bali kukwatira wano nga todduse. Oli buulira b'osanze mu kabuli. Enkuba gye bakubye banakalema. Abajoze ensena abaginiedde ku mutwe. Nkugamba. Olaba nalabye case. I saw somebody when they are talking about this case. Mubuze Kalugiri. I think Kalugiri reported to the president. I saw a man, an arrogant man shedding a tear. He is a Mirundi. I'm not the one. Until you push your percent. The commander man in Kazibayo. Cut you in trouble. And once you commit an offense that attracts foreign attention, Nababuri. Nembaganti one way of solving this organic case, let the government announce that it has discovered that people are being killed by doctors in Bund hospitals, institute a commission of inquiry, because ICC cannot intervene in a local tribunal.
Oh, yeah.
ICC intervenes when it is impunity. Basalawo kakati mutembo abatembi tuyina ekibinja ky'abatembi mulimu ne baminisita abatembi badokita b'emulago batemba abeerukazi batemba ab'emasaka batemba 63 surgeons of Uganda batembi. All of the hospital they frustrated Museveni's efforts to bring Cubans batira abantu malwali kati mutemba at one time 18 women were dying every
ensonga ya transport
wait nkugamba nti I'm buying which I proposed in 2014 I'm buying these Ramushakos and those are willing to sell their vehicles who don't make it. Why not buy these Kamunyes which I'm doing and sell them to steel mills like Uguma?
Okay.
The taxi industry was and is wide and bigger than what Musisi Ochisaka is doing and in Narweso. The importers of Kamunyes are still importing, unlike in Kenya where they cannot, for there is no future for Kamunye. Okay. And the government made it, the government of Kenya, because they wanted to solve a problem, these are civils, made it abundantly clear to Kenyans. The Kamunye industry does not stop at drivers and owners who are fighting for money. Kisaka na parading nalabya kakaza kaino Christian katika ina kalingo gun Kisaka tell those people to produce their cards baina motoka mmeka nabaga nti motoka eziri mu Kampala baina motoka ezikola taxi mu Kampala tezusuka 10.
So motoka ezo zigulwe company
is not a sort that is found everywhere.
Yes, true. Ogamba nti zigulwe company
run a taxi industry emipiira bajiba biki fe tuli bagumunyu have been in the taxi industry for the last 20 years.
Yes.
Toyinza kunzanyisa nze mbimanyi UTC yagwa we came in tumujja kutuba nolwiso ojja kudduka nkubulidde omuzanzajira mu taxi kubanga kakati ababbi babadde basigaziza boda zokka. That's why they are coming up to terrorize transport. Kati abantu bagenda kutambula fuel tejja ku consumption ejja kugwa. That's what they do. And nkugamba the Kamunya industry does not stop at the drivers as Kisaka wants us to believe and in that way. So the owners, what about the owners? You call the taxi drivers is idiotic. If you meet 400 drivers, can you have drivers now transporting? No, it have service become binabakola. Those are you know Kisakabe Musinka na tewali tujayo kadisa motoka. Bakasema tujayo kadisa motoka. Let us prove everybody should bring his vehicles in the kadisa. Tebayina motoka za mukamu. Bagateka obutesi. How can a taxi driver no una ngemotoka igula milioni 8 nakuba amayinje motoka? Do you think it is easy?
Tugenda kwa tumula mukatono munafalaba tukyali mukulu Tamale Mirundi akyonyonyedera tumula katono tukomawo wataliwo ensonga ekwata ku misango gy'ebeekoloola n'ensonga ekwata ku Sudaani
bave mu taxi abantu bano
butukomawo.
Select for fun.
Vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 kijja kugwa.
Gwanga ku gwanga ebyafaayo obulumbagano
Against
nsi ku nsi
Benghazi.
ekkubaane eryaliwo abaali ab'amaanyi nsi kyesinga amaanyi ani asinga obuyinza biki ebyayogerwa kyekizungirizi ku STV.
STV, select for fun.
Okyali ku SharpTalk wanikyali mnafu olwaleero ate tugamba tukyalina mukunavu mukulu Tamale Mirundi mu nsonga zonna ezikozamu wiiki eno ate tugamba tutambudde mpolampola tugenda netufa ku Old Tax Park netugenda kugera kwa President 7 kuliwo olunaku lujja kwa Lwakuna tugenze ku nsonga y'empuuta efuuse ensonga waliwo ensonga nno you have cleared that one waki waliwo ensonga ekwata ku emisango gy'okulonda tujja girya eyo yavudde dda mu ddiiro eyavudde dda mu ddiiro kati wakyaliwo mbadde nkusaba
when you separated the demand as wisdom nekavaayo n'ababaka ba parliament nga baasaba is it a crime to have empuuta
soko mpewo forward ya taxi
you conman that for Saudi Arabia to have ample oil that the Saudis don't drive cars. Where were you born? Were you made by carpenters? Are you a doll? Which country are you talking about?
Abali mu business ya taxi
nekapayo n'entwe bakaba mu parliament n'entwe yako
bakole batya tuwe way forward
ani nkugambye
abali mu business ya taxi bananyini n'abali mu business
nkugamba nti oyo Kisaka oba mutwe guliko ekisaka oba birala manya abaana batuuma amanya ku ssomero oba lyabba oba lyanisima naye nkugamba ti what these people the narrators when they intervene they don't know the multiplier effect. When you antagonize the transport even fuel
oja kuba
unemployment nkugamba nti the kamunye industry contrary to what the narrators think we should preserve themselves to the army and allow us the activists to solve problems.
Okay.
The kamunye industry does not stop at the drivers and the owners who are fighting, who were fighting for money. What about spare dealers? Those who wash the kamunyes, the cannabis,
okay,
the petrol station dealers, the mechanics, and the women who sell mulokoni in the taxi parks.
Okay. Kisukawo.
No.
Kisukawo.
Kisaka beyond your made your wagundi. Akafadi. Kisaka. Reason. When you are put in charge of a city, ask, get it, good. Ni kisaka. Reason beyond your mattress. Okay. Reason beyond the chest of your husband.
Ndoza tukafunye bulungi ako kisukawo.
Nti bano bwe baba bazanyira mu kintu tebakimanyi nti nkugamba nti bali bagala kuleta buses nemba gamba in 2014 nabagamba many Ugandans including those in Kampala walk on foot. Ugandans don't use taxis, they don't use buses, not because they lack money. This is a habit, it's a practice. Nabagamba this has nothing to do with the income. This is explainable by one answer. It is a residue from our rural background. Villagers prefer walking as the converse, which they cannot do while they traveling in taxis with foreigners. In Uganda, between 4 and 5 a.m., the number of people walking on our roads is enough to validate my argument that Uganda does not have 12 p.m. traveling passengers. Mutunulire kwata Namirembe road,
okay,
kwata Bombo road, kwata Jija road Sibanji, kwata Antebe road.
Oh yeah.
Are these people walking on foot because they don't have money? Basalensa uli bamusali simu. They enjoy. Abakazi bagamba enkumi zange 3 nejjamu y'omu Kampala kanzikulimu abaana bangu Omuganda.
Oh yeah, true.
Kisaka
natambuza ebigere. Tugenzeko wano, tugenzeko Emityana.
Nti taxis operate between 4. They transport those who are going to between 4 a.m. and 10 kumache sawa 10 taxi zitandika
okukola.
Why? Those who are going to markets and school children, from 10 to 4, they are not traveling passengers. Hajati ogenda. Why? The answer to this is that we do not have shifts in our working places, like in developing countries. After work, we return home, which means that there are no passengers in Uganda. Training okujjako Kisaka. Kisaka yekaya yinza okukola. The Kampala requires 100 buses. To ferry who? Wava no failed. The premier buses failed. What? No, Kisaka. Why don't you help us and resign? Why don't you Kisaka resign?
To very
a competent person.
To very abalamuzi basaze emisango gy'okulonda abawerako juzi tubadde mitiana gitwakasemba okulaba ng'eriyo abakiise babagamba bave mu parliament gwe mu nsala y'emisango gino oli mumativu. Yes,
I laugh at these people.
Bani abalamuzi.
The judges. If any judge nullifies the Ugandan election for bribing or any irregularity is stupid. His judge is a joker. In Uganda, the only person I know who does not buy votes is Museveni. Museveni gives facilitation and very little money. Everybody buys. This is why we have this excitement over money. But even cosmetics help. Beautiful ladies.
Okay.
I'm a rich man, yes. But is it Tata the Prime Minister of India?
Nedda.
Even the richest Uhuru had to get allies.
Okusobola kuba nti ayitawo libukiri
he acquired this privileged wealth. Nga mubbe empuuta mubbe ennyama mugiteekamu faludoni matamugabba.
Obujulizi bwalabise endowooza mu misango gino
nti abalamuzi baawano they should do political science. If you find a party that has already got more than 2/3 majority, why do you create a by-election?
Kadde mwako a party in a 2/3
yes,
majority.
Whom are you helping? You were Ugandan, you were like Malaga. You were like this Malawian judge who nullified the elections. You were judge, you were Ugandan. You reason.
Nti ina majority 2/3.
Already NRM has acquired 2/3 majority.
Okay.
Whom are you helping to consolidate the democracy? No loving, no loving.
Bagoberera bujulizi. Mukulu Tamale.
Ababalamuzi bakubira masimu.
Bujulizi.
Yes, let me tell you. NRM cannot win a by-election. NRM cannot win a by-election. And I pity a woman like Nabakova. Why? Nabakova, if they wanted Nabakova to win a by-election, they wouldn't have appointed the minister. The villagers now say,
okay.
2, the margin of 30,000 votes this woman registered against Nabakova, it requires research. How are you hated to that level?
Okay.
If the margin is 30,000, compare other margins. Let us say that the North was a storm. Tsunami. Yes. You compare. 3, NRM, in the political science, they tell us that opposition parties fear by-elections. Why? For 2 reasons. The government, because it controls the electoral commission, gets the date of election earlier than anybody. Mumbaga, omukazi yayogera olunaku lw'embaga lwalibeera nga ali fit.
Okay.
Kubanga marriage yinza okutebera consummated. So is a woman who tells you. Kati in politics, is the government, because it controls the electoral commission, it knows the election and they time it. NRM take a 2, where a by-election all of the devils of government converge in one place.
Yep.
Because in a general election, you spread, you scattered, you are
divided.
Avenalium babbi. Kati yonna candidate balimba mu 7 gekajja ne sente ne kajja ne kusinga mukakuba ne mukuba abazze abafudde ku secretariat patadongo bani sente kajja nazo tegaziwa candidate negadda mu bala ne kusinga mukakuba ne katalinyayo. Kakati NRM sees because it has already secured a majority in the parliament. Bwe bajja mu by election sente bazibba bubbi. 3 they get twice. An NRM person who has lost the election, a company eyamukoddemu wa president Kalugire yebawozesa kiwenuka ndi Kalugire kyamu kafeche wa mu nyumba.
Bamanyi nti
tewali kafuluma kafeche wa mu
kitegedde bulungi baba nze bade mai biveerimo NRM kafeche atya.
What does an NRM when NRM loses an election the lawyers are paid their money. That's one. 2. Why has Museveni ever started? Why, whenever an NRM person loses an election petition, court awards the other person, the opponent of NRM, the opposition, more money? No kandi million bisatu nganzi kuwanti. In fact, in a country where election is sparked off a civil war, 5 years, a very bloody war, going to court would be free. Because we have a person who never went to court and he took the other way and he came to power.
Oh, yeah.
And he has, as the saying goes, in politics what matters is the end.
The end justifies the means.
Museveni has liberated this country. In a country, in a country where we have a history of going to the bush after an election, going to court, I will be welcome.
It's the best option.
Yes. You have come to court, expecting omusajja yakubye judiciary ya wano yakubye nabasa ngenda kafulumya mwaka tabu omusajja omuzungu yakubye judiciary bonna si balamuzi. The man reasoned nakuba nabasa nakuba ate yabaga nti judiciary ya Uganda eringa ye Britain yakubye yotuwonyoza abalamuzi ab'ekibogwe ne bakubira amasimu ati nkubuulira
Yes.
n'abakooba akoze ensobi ezo is already minister.
Ekisooka
2 she has not studied the margin emitwalo esatu 3 the backlash yes ye yalize yalifunye vota.
Okay. Vota nakola atya
n'awaaba teyalifunye backlash
ye katawaabye.
Era nkubuulira ekyokusatu NRM cannot defeat opposition. It will be a miracle. The opposition is not organizing. NRM babeera mu tent kuba waliwo azibbiramu. Where do you find the political rally in it? Basi za Nalweyiso ne zitwala bakirolo 55
baba bagenze kola
ne baziyingiramu
baba bagenze kola
nkugambye. I want to tell you NRM, when you see a person fighting in a court is an orphan. Gajja kubba sente kati ojja kulaba Tadongo ng'atutte ngalabiye kati Tadongo n'amakuti omanyi Tadongo bamubbako sente malaya yamubba sente ate banne be baazikima. That's why me I cannot go back to government. I'm feeling comfortable because after vomiting what I've vomited, I expect telephone emoji.
What have you vomited? What have you vomited?
Me, I'm under one person. Moja peke yake, raisi ya Uganda. Moja peke yake. Once I vomit, I go home.
What did you vomit?
Who are you? But Mr. Miru, no, I think it's logo now.
Yes.
I even abuse your obscenities. The new abusive words which I've calculated. When I can accept a phone from one person. American man.
The president.
Raisi ya Uganda. Hakuna mwingine. Who are you? But you are Mr. Miru. Yes, wrong number.
I'm
hearing.
Dobozi lyo. Bweba business.
Why? Who pays the paper controls the tune? Can anybody? They used to switch off. It wouldn't be in the interest of courts because Ugandan is rough. In Uganda, and that's the problem. If you are nullified, your election is nullified. For bribing your voters, you don't go back and stand. 2, a judge like the one who turned himself into a university, academic institution, and awarded the Segirinya qualifications.
Yep.
Is he fit to be a judge?
Chibuzo.
Yes.
Chibuzo.
You cannot acquire academic papers through nullification because this is a constitutional issue. There's no way out. Segirinya cannot go to parliament without academic papers because Chidanda failed. What if Chibangara? Do you hear Chidanda was bribed? They're going to Sebagala. You will see Chidanda with a job. That's what I mean. I chase these fools.
Bwegenda ku nsonga eyo omulamuzi yawumula Kanyahamba onakulegulu yalabiseeko ng'agenze kutwalira musango mu kkooti ey'amateeka ng'agamba nti nno tayagala nsonga ya beyiro eyogerweko mu parliament.
But Museveni has been defeating Kanyahamba.
Naye yamuwaabidde.
Kanyahamba abuses the judges. You take his case to foreign judges. Kanyahamba said that the judges are wanting. So I don't expect Kanyahamba. You see, Kanyahamba is an old man.
Yes.
And to keep his brain alive, he must
be active. Talina point ya raising. Alemese parliament eno kugera ku nsonga ya beyiro ng'agenda mu kkooti eya waggulu.
Kanyahamba is the man behind. Kanyahamba was 80% of the parliament in Uganda is attributed constitution was made by Kanyahamba.
80%.
80%. Kanyahamba at one time he boasted, I've perished through all countries' constitutions except one for North Korea, and it's because with their native language. Ours is the finest.
Okay. Kyalwanirira ki?
And nedda ne emukuba bigu.
Itya.
Museveni Kanyahamba gende wa Museveni namugamba musikeriyo. Oyagala akuteeremu ki mu constitution. Museveni namukanteeremu ki. Nze njagala mukole fulekesebwa constitution. Ekigambo fulekesebwa Kanyahamba teyakitegeera. That's why he did not entrench the term limits to the majority.
Okay.
Museveni nakuba Kanyahamba ekiku.
Semateeka esobola okukyuka.
Kanyahamba is an admirer of American system. Ebyo byonna yabiteekamu. American system. Vetting of ministers. And Kanyahamba yabiteekamu. Academic papers. Kanyahamba yabiteekamu. Ebimukuba ebigo kati. Parliament, you see, lawyers should undertake a political science.
Kibayamba.
If we don't take a political science, introduction to political science, why? We have what we call systems analysis. I can understand the American system. Although Nigeria claims that is a federal government, compared the Adimayala, the Nigerians are the Adimayalas of America. The federal government in Washington, the federal government in Abuja, the Senate, the Congress, the what?
Okay.
But quasi, what drives the American system?
What is that?
Nti ono omukazi Perus yakwata speech ya gun Trump nagiuza and is back. Fe twakujje muddo obwesi.
Okay.
Use ya Museveni oba ofuluma. So for us, we know what it drives. We call it systems analysis.
Okay.
What it drives the system?
No gitegeera no
Yes.
no.
Because many of those people are not political scientists. Kanyahamba is not a political scientist.
But he's a lawyer.
Kanyahamba
Full professor.
Believe that the presidency was causing the trouble in Uganda. Nagamba, let us tame the presidency. Let the parliament be independent and run its affairs.
Oh, yes.
2, let's also make sure that we reduce the powers of the president. Museveni does not have much powers. The president of the United States has much powers. Although Museveni is called a dictator by those Americans and Europeans because they don't know. In America, we have what we call a recess appointment. If the president of the United States appoints somebody and is rejected by Congress, true. 2, we have what we call the political decision doctrine in America. The president of the United States has declared he wants Saddam Hussein. You don't argue. Museveni tabiyina.
Nechiba. Anti onaita
kakati Museveni must give them money. Yes. Nti married woman yokumugura nankabirwa mama nankabirwa yakuba nanuka bamu ba yagenda natekako ebipande bye right mbw agenda kuba prime minister kakati nadduka ewa gundi ono enamirembe representative ani ate abasajja African Majeji nejezanya ntagali party mulimu kaze dene lifanana nankabirwa n'omusajja ayambadde kandulo omuwangu wa
professor no
kubuli anagamba
professor
every time Museveni takes a bill to parliament the chief whip eats money, they demand money. How can I give money to my wife for sex? Kati system tujibala parliament
because it's your wife.
I think kugai nti parliament kanyamba tajimanyi. Parliament is independent.
Yeah.
Parliament, when parliament goes on recess, when parliament is adjourned, sine-die is different. Sine-die means the speaker only has powers to recommend it. Parliament, bwebanga is suspended its activities. Speaker ita mulyango mulala. Nobody. That's why the security writes to the speaker to tell them you can be an MP is arrestable, but not in the parliament. Or he is going to parliament. Tebabimanyi. These are primitive people. The peasants. Kakati kwetunulira. Nabagambi nti we in danger. Previously, you were arresting lawyers. You were arresting journalists. You were arresting intellectuals. Today, you have turned the government is arresting even Obuwala. Buno obuwala buli ku TV. Obusiba akachapati. Obo. Obusiba kasumbusa abasajja babukwani balwasa. Abakwani emizinda. Balwasa bakwana studio. Omusajja ina aliri tweet yakwana mizindalo na studio. Kakati anti nkubulira nti abatagala kulaba Museveni ate bagula ono gundi seguya kumbaka. The head of the largest opposition party is from the ghetto and entertainer. And if you say, if you go to parliament today, yes, which group dominates the parliament? Are they lawyers, teachers, doctors? No, musicians. Your country is doomed. It's becoming a banana state. Instead of chasing the Mirundis, who have knowledge, he said, kati munonya buno buwala kuba bwe bu influencing society buno busiba akachapati babuyita bwani obo babuyitani sagala buge ne buwala obera ku TV obo kati mukwatani o abantu ne bakuga nti we yabizonto omusajja aga nti azimu nini azimu tuwezekane kwa Sudan ulira yes omusajja ali mu motoka ye yali agenze wa mukazi w'omuto owebbali nakwata engoye ze n'ateeka mu mazzi asuleyo kati omusajja agenda okuva mbuliri ngengoye ze batadde mazzi nankubira essimu nangambisa mirundi ya muddenja nti omukazi addidde engoye zange azinyize mazzi nandaweya nimugamba motoka ebisumuluzo biina nti vuga nga oli bwereere naavuga nga ali bwereere atuuka ku road block neyebamba bwati ku road block y'abaserikale wenani mimi azimu onaenda wapi ninaenda Ntebeka hospitali abaserikale badduka emisinde naye omusajja nakuga nti nze bizonto nti omusajja director wa DPP nawayo order bakwate bizonto
mwami Tamale Mirundi Sudan yenu katunzi
this country is upside down
Sudan yenu
A man who has told you, mimi azimu. Mimi azimu. Mimi azimu. Abashaka mimi azimu. Azimu. DPP nawe baruwa nti genda kwata azimu. Omulamuzi nalagira azimu bamule.
Sudani ba.
Namwenda ku 14 azimu.
Sudani ba wandi.
Azimu.
Sebo Sudani ba wandi.
You people, you need the players. Our government needs the
players. Sudan. Yes.
Sudan. The problem in Sudan is clear. Bashir is very popular.
Achali maje.
Bashir is very popular. The excitement is all over. The people who overthrew Bashir were Israelis.
Yeah.
Why? The Israelis found out that the small, these weapons that were being used in the West Bank got manufactured in Sudan, they go through Egypt and Sinai. After some time, why did the ICC refuse to take Bashir? Bashir is popular. Bashir is the only Sudanese president who made concessions to the south and was not overthrown. 2, after the honeymoon is over, the Sudanese people found out that once you have economic problems, you cannot solve them by bullets. So what it took the people on the street is not solvable. Okay. So the soldiers have lost the honeymoon. Okay. They are stuck with Bashir, and people are realizing that without or with Bashir, the economic conditions are safe. 3, the Americans can excite you, but America does not finish its battles. America excited the people of Nicaragua. America excited the people of Panama when they took Noriega. After Panama and Nicaragua, they went to Middle East. This is why the person they removed from power, Daniel Ortega bounced back. So when you are dealing with the Americans, they excite you. But Americans have no friends. Oh, yeah. They have interests. So by scrapping Sudan from the group of evil, this was not accompanied by funding, like the Marshall Plan. America has also its economic problems. When they promise, you don't expect to get money from them. They are also developing the technology. Occupying the territory is no longer their option. They have developed the technology, you don't need to occupy land. The country that is buying much of Saudi oil is China, not America. So for us, who study the international trade, I know that by having Bashir around, why, you see, at a time, Kakati, why are they exhuming the body of, this is Robert Mugabe. Okay. Why are they exhuming the body of Captain Sankara? Okay. One day they will exhume the body of Mobutu. Okay. It's like very possible. It's very possible. It's like in the media. Very possible. In the media, at a certain level of time, somebody can be defamatory, but after some time, it ceases to be defamatory. At times when you incite, you want to incite. Everybody is talking about Kibaki in Kenya. Everybody is talking about Moi. Why? The people have realized that with or without Moi, kubaba ya slogan, kila kitu kinawezekana kwa Kenya bila Moi. Okay. Everything can be done in Kenya without Moi. Okay. Moi is no more. Akani afford as sukuma ya wi ukapa wange ewedeko basibule bwavu buwedde obudde mukulu basibule budde kati ngeze kuzika wafu ngeze kuzika sesa watyo bwabadde I could not sit in a tent when I could give some information to millions of Ugandans. Katwebaze kukonovo amukulu Tamale Mirundi ngenda imotoka wano ajja kudate ya police ngende nakulala bweto bade SharpTalk obanyo bede ajja kubadda munafatulaba banafa bemizanyo bade radio kubanga bakatwala mu sawa eddako thank you very much mkono kubanga ozona ko bale naye munafa bade ku social media. Thank you very much. Meet again next time. Stay well.
Bye.